My husband passed, and I moved in with my son. One morning, my daughter-in-law handed me a list of chores titled rent payment. I quietly did them all, except the one that would expose what she did last summer. Alan and I were married 42 years. That kind of love doesn't just end when the person dies. It sticks to your bones, echoes around the house, stays in the coffee mugs, the laundry basket, the damn toothbrush. He was diagnosed in July. Gone by November. That's all the time we had to prepare for the rest of my life. I stayed in our house in Pueblo for about 2 months after the funeral. I kept thinking I could handle it. But winter crept in, and so did the silence. I'd wake up and reach for him. Every single morning. I started leaving the TV on just to pretend someone else was in the room. I burned dinner more times than I could count. My hands shook when I held a knife. I fell on the back porch in early January while trying to take out the trash. Fractured my wrist. That was the breaking point. My son Nathan came to visit that week. He sat across from me, gentle voice like his father's, and said, "Mom, you shouldn't be here alone. Come stay with us for a while. Just until you're steady again." Dana, his wife, chimed in too. She smiled a lot back then. Not a real smile, one of those tight ones that barely reached the eyes. "We have more than enough room," she said. "We'd love to have you." They lived in Aurora, in a newer 2-story house in one of those HOA neighborhoods with too many rules and overpriced landscaping. It wasn't cozy, but it was clean and modern. I packed only what I needed. Nathan sent movers for the rest. I cried when I locked my front door for the last time. Alan had carried me over that threshold when I was 23. At first, everything seemed okay. Dana was polite, maybe a little stiff. I chalked it up to the adjustment. She's younger than Nathan by a few years, works part-time at a local design firm. Always glued to her phone or running to Pilates or brunch or something with names like Aaron and Macy. I kept to myself. Cleaned up after myself. I paid for my own groceries, even though they told me I didn't have to. I made myself useful. Folded laundry, cooked dinner here and there, took their dog Duke for walks when Dana was busy. I thought I was being helpful. But by mid-spring, something shifted. Dana started making comments. Small, quiet things you might miss if you weren't paying attention. "Oh, I see you already used the good olive oil," she said one night. "I usually save that for special meals, but it's fine." Or, "Did you mean to leave your shoes by the door? It's kind of a tripping hazard." She never yelled, never raised her voice. But everything had a sting to it. A coldness. Like I was some guest who had overstayed her welcome, even though they invited me. Nathan didn't notice. Or, if he did, he didn't say anything. He works long hours. Leaves early, home late. I tried not to bother him. Then one morning in late May, Dana handed me a piece of paper. She slid it across the kitchen island while sipping her $9 protein shake like she was running a board meeting. "I just thought this would help keep things running smooth," she said, "since we're all sharing space." The top of the page said, "Rent payment." Made chores list. My stomach dropped. I read it twice. Vacuum all carpets, weekly clean upstairs bathrooms, Monday/Friday, dust blinds and living room shelves, clean backyard dog poop, daily, cook family dinner 3 nights a week, do not adjust thermostat, no perfume or sprays in shared spaces, organize pantry monthly, no guests, without prior approval, wipe down patio furniture, at the bottom in handwriting. Failure to complete tasks may require reconsidering current living arrangement. I didn't say a word.
My mouth was dry.
I just looked at her. She smiled. "It's not personal. Just fair."
Fair.
After everything I had been through, after burying the man I loved, selling my house, giving up my own space, and moving in with them, this girl who married my son, who didn't even take my last name, was handing me a chore list titled rent. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I told her, "Okay." And then I got to work. Every morning, I cleaned the dog poop in the backyard with a scooper that always smelled, no matter how much I hosed it down. I vacuumed the whole upstairs, even their room. I scrubbed their bathroom sinks and folded Dana's yoga pants. I cooked on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, real meals too. Roast chicken, stuffed peppers, lasagna. I did every single task on that list quietly, perfectly. But I skipped one thing. I never told anyone what I saw last summer. Last July, Alan and I came to drop off a desk Nathan had asked for. He was working remotely then and needed space for his monitors. Dana wasn't expecting us. She opened the front door in a robe, hair wet, face flushed. Her eyes widened. "Oh, I didn't realize you were coming this early," she stammered. A silver SUV was pulling out of the driveway behind her. Zach, her friend's husband. I recognized his car instantly. Dana mumbled something about garage repairs, waved us in, and acted like nothing was wrong.
I didn't buy it.
Later that night, I couldn't sleep. I told Alan what I saw. He said, maybe it was innocent. But I saw her face. I saw the way Zach sped off. It wasn't innocent. And now, every time I bent down to scoop Duke's mess or wiped toothpaste off her mirror, I thought about that moment. I held on to it like a secret weapon. Because she thought she had power over me. She had no idea I was the one holding hers. Things got worse in June. Subtle at first, then not so subtle. Dana started forgetting to save me a plate when they ordered out. I'd come downstairs to find empty takeout containers in the trash, the kitchen spotless, and Nathan passed out on the couch. One time it was barbecue, my favorite. Another time sushi, from that place I introduced them to 2 years ago. She started locking the thermostat.
Literally.
Bought some little box off Amazon and installed it around the dial. Said it was to prevent energy waste. I was freezing at night. Colorado nights are still cold in early summer. I wrapped myself in 2 blankets and kept a heating pad under my feet. She began nitpicking my cooking. Said my food was too heavy, even when I made grilled fish or steamed vegetables. Once, I heard her on the phone telling someone, I don't think older people realize we don't eat like that anymore. I didn't say anything, just kept my head down, cleaning, cooking, walking the dog. But I was watching, waiting. Nathan didn't seem to notice how miserable I was. Or maybe he did, and didn't know what to say. I'd raised him to be kind, but Dana had his ear now. That became clear the night he pulled me aside and said, "Hey, could you maybe try not to rearrange stuff in the fridge?" Dana gets really particular about that. Rearranging? I'd moved 1 bottle of oat milk, so I could put my yogurt in the back, where it stays colder. That's it. I nodded and said, sure. But something snapped in me after that. It wasn't just about chores anymore. This woman was slowly pushing me out of my own family, and I could feel it like a tightening rope. Then came the real shift. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Dana was supposed to be at work, but she came home early. I was in the laundry room folding towels when I heard the garage door open. A few minutes later, she stormed into the kitchen. Her voice was sharp. "Did you go through my purse?" I froze. What? My purse. My wallet's moved. Some receipts are missing. Did you go through it? No, I said calmly. I haven't touched your things. She narrowed her eyes, then stormed off. No apology, no explanation. That night she told Nathan I was acting paranoid and touching her stuff. I heard them arguing through the wall. He said I'd been helpful, that I'd been through a lot. She said I was making her uncomfortable in her own home. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, she made me scrub all the baseboards, top to bottom, because there were spider webs. But here's where things started to turn in my favor. A few days later, Dana left her phone on the kitchen island while she ran upstairs.
It buzzed. Once.
Then again. The screen lit up, and I saw the name. Zach, I don't know what made me do it. I never touched her things before. But I picked up that phone and opened the message. I miss last summer.
Do you?
You taste like honey. When can I see you again? Delete this. I mean it. I put the phone down. My hands were ice cold. I walked out to the porch and sat there, heart thudding like a drum.
She was still talking to him.
And not just talking. This wasn't just a summer fling. This was ongoing. Now I knew it wasn't just some mistake. It wasn't a moment of weakness. She was cheating on my son, my only child, and still treating me like the one who didn't belong. The next morning, Dana didn't say good morning. She just left another list on the counter. July tasks. Thank you in advance. Smiley face. I did everything on it.
Quietly. Perfectly.
Just like before. Except this time, I started preparing. I began going through old emails and photos I had stored from the day last summer when we dropped off the desk. I found one I'd taken in the driveway. Dana hadn't noticed me snapping it. But in the corner, half blurred, you could see Zach's SUV.
Clear as day.
His custom Broncos decal was unmistakable. I Googled him. He still lived just 20 minutes away.
Divorce now.
I also remembered Dana once used the shared desktop computer upstairs to check her email. I clicked around one night while they were out and found her browser history. Dumb mistake on her part. She hadn't cleared anything. One of the tabs she'd recently opened? Can deleted text messages be recovered by a spouse? I copied the URL. Saved the history log. I didn't say a word. Not yet. Not to Nathan. Not to anyone. Because the worst part wasn't just that she was cheating. It was that she thought she could keep winning. And she hadn't even noticed that I'd already started winning back. A week after I saw those messages from Zach, things took an odd turn. Dana suddenly got nice again. She started thanking me for dinner. Left a little folded towel on my pillow with a bar of lavender soap. Asked me how I was feeling. It was strange. Like she flipped a switch. At first, I thought maybe Nathan had said something to her, but he acted normal, tired, distracted. So I watched her closer. That's when I realized she was scared. Something had happened, and she was trying to cover her tracks. 3 days later, I found out what it was. I went to get the mail, something I'd done every day since I moved in, and spotted an envelope addressed to Dana. It was already opened, half stuffed back into the stack like she didn't want it seen. The return address said, Townsend Family Mediation. I'm not proud of it, but I read it. The letter was a follow-up. Apparently, Zach's ex-wife had filed to modify custody again because Dana had been named in the divorce documents as a reason for moral conflict in the home. Zach and Dana had continued their affair after his wife left, and now the ex had proof. It wasn't just some scandal now, it was legal. Dana was about to be dragged into a custody mess with a man who didn't even want her around full-time.
She thought it would stay in the past.
It wasn't. This explained the nervous energy. The forced smile. She was trying to get ahead of the fallout before it reached Nathan.
But it was too late for that.
Because I already had a folder. Yep. A real folder. With screenshots, the photo of Zach's car, copies of the browser history, and now this letter. I kept it all in a box in the back of the closet under some old blankets. I still hadn't decided how to use it. Not exactly. But I was close. Then came the next twist. One morning, Nathan left for work early. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my coffee when Dana walked in. She was still in her robe, hair messy, barefoot. She didn't see me right away. She was crying. Not sobbing, just quiet, stiff crying. She poured herself a glass of juice, leaned against the counter, and whispered, "Shit. Shit, shit." I didn't move. She finally saw me, flinched a little, wiped her face, and forced a laugh. "Oh, morning. I didn't sleep great." She turned to leave, then stopped. She stood there a second, back still turned to me, and said in a weird, flat voice, "I think Nathan's cheating on me." I blinked. "What?" She turned back around. Her face was red and puffy. "He's been texting someone." I saw messages pop up while he was in the shower. A woman. He was smiling while he typed. I didn't believe her. Not for a second. But I didn't say that. I just said, "You sure?" She nodded. "Maybe it's nothing. But I have a gut feeling." It hit me in that moment. She was trying to build her own story. A backup plan. Something to shift attention if anything came out about her. Maybe she sensed I knew something. Maybe she was preemptively poisoning the well. And it worked. Sort of. That night, Nathan seemed off. Quiet.
Distracted.
Dana was all over him, kissing his cheek, rubbing his shoulders, cooking dinner for once. I watched it all like I was outside my own body. She was trying to distract him with love, paint herself as the good wife, the victim, the one who gave his mom a home, and supported him through grief. But I was starting to see through her game entirely. And then one night, one single, stupid slip blew it wide open. I was cleaning up the kitchen after dinner. Dana was upstairs. Nathan was in the garage doing something with his bike. Dana's phone buzzed on the counter. Again, the name lit up. Zach, and then the message that ended everything. I need to know if it's mine. My knees went weak. I had to grip the counter. If it's mine. It wasn't just an affair. It wasn't just flirting or texts or one night last summer. Dana might be pregnant. And it might be Zach's. And she hadn't told Nathan. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't just betrayal. It was war. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything. Alan, the move, the list of chores, the thermostat box, the lies, the crying act, and now this. Dana might be pregnant with Zach's baby. And still sleeping next to my son like nothing was wrong. She deserved to lose everything. But I didn't want to explode and cause chaos. That wouldn't work. Nathan loved her, or thought he did. If I wasn't careful, I'd look like the bitter old woman trying to ruin his marriage. So I waited. I played it smarter than Dana ever imagined I could. I started by making her trust me. The next morning, I asked her if she wanted coffee. She blinked, surprised, then smiled.
Sure, she said.
I poured it. I sat with her. We talked. I nodded along while she complained about Nathan being distant. I asked, "Have you talked to him about it?" She sighed and said, "It's hard. He's always working." 2 days later, I left her a note. Said I was visiting my friend Eleanor in Monument for the day. I wasn't. I just sat at the library reading and watching time pass. While I was gone, I set a trap. Before I left, I took Dana's laptop, one she rarely used but still kept upstairs, and copied the folder of files from my own stash onto her desktop. Every photo, every screenshot, the browser history, even the text from Zach about the baby. I labeled the folder, August Budget Plans. Something she'd never notice. Then I waited. I knew Nathan sometimes used that laptop when his was updating or when he needed to jump on quick meetings. I just needed him to open it.
It took a week.
One night, I was in the laundry room folding towels when I heard Dana's voice, sharp, panicked. "Nathan, where did you see that? Why were you even going through my stuff?" A pause. Then Nathan's voice, flat and low. "You didn't even delete the screenshots. You saved everything." I don't know how that got there. Don't lie to me, Dana. I stayed silent, folding towels, heart pounding. It went on for hours. Raised voices. Her crying. Him yelling. Then silence. The next morning, Nathan came into the kitchen alone. He looked like he hadn't slept. He sat across from me, eyes tired. "Did you know?" he asked. I didn't lie. I didn't tell the whole truth either. I said, "I saw things last summer I didn't understand at the time. But I've had my suspicions." He nodded. His hands were shaking. "She's been cheating on me for over a year. And she's not even sure who the baby belongs to." I didn't speak. I just let him sit with the truth. That night, Dana left. She packed a duffel bag and called an Uber. Nathan didn't speak to her. Just stood in the doorway with his arms crossed. She didn't cry this time. She didn't scream. She looked destroyed, like someone had pulled the floor out from under her. 3 days later, Nathan filed for divorce. 2 weeks after that, he had her stuff boxed up and left it on the porch. She never came to get it. Someone else picked it up. I stayed out of it. I didn't say, "I told you so." I didn't hover. But here's the last twist. Remember that chore list Dana gave me? The rent payment? I made a copy. I framed it. I gave it to Nathan on the day she moved out. He read it. His jaw tightened. He said, "She gave this to you?" I said, "First day of May." He stared at it for a long time, then shook his head. "I never knew. You weren't supposed to," I said. "She never wanted you to." He didn't speak for a minute. Then he put the frame down and said quietly, "You don't have to stay here anymore if you don't want to." I looked at him, and for the first time in months, I saw my son again. Not the distracted, pulled in two directions man. The boy I raised. The one who used to make me Mother's Day cards out of construction paper. I think I'll stay a little while longer, I said.
We've been just the two of us since then.
He's slowly piecing himself back together. I cook because I want to. He insists on doing the dishes. The thermostat is mine again. I even started wearing my favorite perfume, light vanilla, the one Dana always said gave her a headache. Nathan never says her name. I don't bring it up. We both know what happened. We both carry our own pain from it. But every once in a while, when I'm alone in the kitchen, I open that drawer where I keep the old list. Not because I need a reminder of what she did, but because it reminds me what I survived, and how I got the last word without ever raising my voice.